What's good, fam? Man, I've been listening to a lot of records lately. Like, I have a whole stack of Aretha Franklin records over there that I've listened to probably about 2 months ago that I need to do a video on, but it's been like 40 something days, man. So, like, I've researched Aretha Franklin and basically did like all my due diligence on the records that I have in my collection, and I just haven't did the video yet. So now all that research and everything ain't really that fresh in my mind. So we just gonna just go to what is fresh, and that is another edition of What Have I Been Listening To. Okay, now first off, man, we just gonna start with Teena Marie, Irons in the Fire. I think this is the one that's got loving on there and stuff like that. Yeah, I need your loving. Clean copy. I love this album. I used to have this in Arizona. I used to listen to this in my garage all the time when this record player was working. Man, I should have included a clip from when I tried to hook my record players outside, and two of the setups that I tried to hook up just didn't work. But it's all good, man. I need to really downsize a lot of my stuff anyways, but I just took the setup that was in my room, which was taking up a lot of space in my tiny room, that I just put into the garage instead. I really don't want my Garage 440M out there, but it is what it is. I chose to use this one in the living room versus that one. So, but first record, man, that was Irons in the Fire. But then we have Commodores. I like this album too. It's called In the Pocket. In the Pocket. It's kind of funny. You got the jeans, and then you got the album with that picture in the pocket. Like, album covers is just all that to me, guys. I don't know why the color is changing. I don't know what all of that is about. My fault. But pretty good album. I can't name none of the songs on here, but it was definitely a good listen. It has Lady, Saturday Night, Keep On Taking Me Higher. But this album, man, like, I think this was probably one of the last ones, or was it one of the first ones that, Lionel Richie was still with them, though. But really, really, really good album, guys. In the Pocket. But then we got my girl, Natalie Cole. Now, like, I've been basically doing a deep dive on her too, but I have like one of her live albums that I listen to all the time. And a lot of those songs is on here. So, Natalie Cole, what's the name of this one? I can't see the name of it because they got the price tag over it, and then I can't see what that says on the side, but nice album, guys. And if y'all could tell, man, I used to be in the record stores back in the day, like 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and I used to get records for $1.50, where you go to record stores now and for the record in the same condition as that for probably like $4, $5, $6. Okay. Here's a pickup from my record run through, my last video that I did. But this is one of the records I picked up. Guy, it's a single. I wanna get with you. You know, I had a couple of decent versions of it. It's a single. Guy, get with you. Then, like I said, I've been deep diving on Natalie Cole. So, another Natalie Cole album, Good to Be Back. You know, as you can tell, man, you know, this is like 80s with the big hair, big wild crazy hair and everything. Natalie Cole. Pretty good album. Like I've been saying, man, I can't really remember. Like I've listened to it and it was a good album. Like if it wasn't good, I could probably remember that more than the stuff that I can remember from what was on here. But, you know, it has songs like Safe on here, As a Matter of Fact, Rest of the Night, Miss You Like Crazy, I Do, Good to Be Back, title cut, and then Gonna Make You Whine, and so on and so forth, guys. So I'm pretty sure I enjoyed that album though, because, you know, but I don't remember much from it. And then here goes another one, Natalie Cole. Had a lot of the songs that I was listening to on that, but this is Thankful. You know, that album cover is just all that. It's a different texture and everything. But this one had a lot of the songs from that live performance too. So, and then also, it's not a gatefold. But also, yeah, as y'all can see, man, like I paid 99 cents for that. So a lot of these albums, man, like y'all see, like I have all these records, but you know, those aren't from today's prices. Okay, this is one of my favorite albums in my collection. You know, every time I get a chance. I mean, this record was sitting in my record player that's in the garage now, that was in my room, that was sitting in there since I lived in Arizona. It was like the whole thing was inside the top. Was just sitting in there the whole time. But Lenny Williams, Love Current. Now, this is just a party. It's a party on the record. I like this. You know, it's like a good feel-good record. You know, it has a couple of like slow songs, but for the most part, you know, it's just a upbeat type, like late 70s type album, like, you know, pre like disco, but you know what I mean? I think this is like 76 or something like that. But Love Current. I love that album. But then, you know, I've been trying to get into Gladys Knight. Like I have a lot of Gladys Knight in the Pips. So, you know, like I just been trying to listen to the stuff that I have instead of going to the record store and steady buying. I mean, I've been in a listening mode for like over a year now. Like I haven't really bought too much at the record store, but this was an okay album. You know, it was all right. You know, I was kind of listening to this when I was cleaning up. This is one of the records I listened to in the garage. But I was listening to that when I was cleaning up in the garage. But then we have another record. Well, the last two that I have here are records that, you know, I bought from my last record store run through. Evelyn Champagne King, was it So Romantic? I don't know why I look like that's what I was about to say. But So Romantic. This is a decent album, you know, like, of course, like the one that everybody knows is probably like her best album, probably like my favorite one from her. But this one was okay. You know, like, I just wish that, you know, like with a lot of these records, especially like, I think this is like, you could tell like with the big hair and stuff like that, this is like early 80s. And with a lot of artists like this, you know, that were like huge in the late 70s, and like she had some hits in the 80s too, but like just like the sounds and things that, you know, like between the 70s and the 80s, like music changed a lot type thing. So like people, a lot of artists, was struggling to find their sound while music changed. I mean, I saw it with Natalie Cole. I saw it with Aretha Franklin. Like a lot of Aretha's albums, when it comes to the '80s, like she had some good ones, but then like she had some that was like, it was all right, and two of them were produced by Luther Vandross. And then she had like some soundtrack hits and stuff like that. So, but this one was okay. It just sounded like like in the transition between the '70s and '80s. It was kind of like a not so much a definitive sound. And I wish like in a lot of these songs she would have sung more. Now I know like like her popular album is more like of a dance, feel good, but I just wish that she would have like took him to church on some of these songs. But speaking of dance, disco, feel good music, you can't leave out High Energy, man. Now these girls put out a few albums on Berry Gordy's, the Gordy record label. So this is one of my favorite female groups that I discovered from being in the record stores and just buying records. High Energy, like I just, you can't keep turning me off. That just go to my head. Like I like these girls. I like them, and like all of their albums are dope and feel good dance albums. And then this one is like straight out of the '70s into the '80s, like that kind of like transition period. But they stayed the course on what they did already, and really didn't change too much musically. And when I bought this album, I thought I had it already, but I didn't, so I'm glad I bought it. But it was a pleasant surprise because I have like 3 or 4 of their other albums, and I love them. I love those. So like I just thought that this one might not be as good, and it is just as good as all the rest of those albums. So High Energy, one of my favorite groups, female groups. I love these girls. Man, so besides Aretha Franklin, guys, that's what I've been listening to. I mean, you saw my pickups from my last record store run through. Man, so I hope y'all guys liked the video, man. Thanks for watching. But just like that, man, this video is over. Just like, share, comment, subscribe. TYT, and I'm out, guys.